ओके शुरू ಮಾಡೋಲ್ಲ ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय नारायणं नमस्कृत्यं नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरये नष्टप्रायेषु अभद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवते उत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टकी मूकं करोति वाचालं पङ्गुं लङ्घयते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे श्रीगुरु दीनतारिणं चैतन्यमीश्वरम् ॐ अज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनाशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः नमो ॐ विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिनिति नामिने नमस्ते सरस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणि निर्विशेषशून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणि जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा ओम तत्सत Thank you all for joining Bhagavatam study daily Monday to Thursday. So we are reading from Canto 1, chapter 13, text 16 today. Correct, no, Prabhuji?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Okay.
Correct.
Yeah. Who is going to read? Anybody
I
allocate?
allocated to Murli Prabhuji.
Okay. Yes, Prabhuji, you can go ahead.
Okay, I'll read from. Okay.
Yeah, please.
युधिष्ठिरो लब्धराज्यो दृष्ट्वा पौत्रं कुलं धरं बृहद्भिः लोकपताभेर्मुमुदे पराय श्रिया.
Very nice, Prabhu. Very nice.
Okay. Thank you, Prabhu. Having won his kingdom and observed the birth of one grandson, competent to continue the noble tradition of his family, Maharaja Yudhishthira reigned peacefully and enjoyed uncommon opulences in cooperation with his younger brothers, and were all expert administrators to the common people. Purport. Both Maharaja Yudhishthira and Arjuna were unhappy from the beginning of the battle of Kurukshetra, but even though they were unwilling to kill their own men in the fight, it had to be done as a matter of duty, for it was planned by supreme will of Lord Sri Krishna. After the battle, Maharaja Yudhishthira was unhappy over such mass killings. Practically, there was none to continue the Kuru dynasty after them, the Pandavas. The only remaining hope was the child in the womb of his daughter-in-law Uttara, and he was also attached by Ashwatthama. But by the grace of the Lord, the child was saved. So, after the settlement of all disturbing conditions and re-establishment of the peaceful order of the state, and after seeing the surviving child, Parikshit, well satisfied, Maharaja Yudhishthira felt some relief as a human being, although he had very little attraction for material happiness, which is always illusory and temporary.
La Prabhupada ki jai.
Yes, Prabhu.
So further continuation of so actually the end of this chapter is how Dhritarashtra leaving the home. That's where the ending up. So the build up is that Vidura is going to discuss with Yudhishthira. And in the previous verse, we could see how Vidura is giving right instruction to his elder brother, Dhritarashtra. And here is mentioned Yudhishthira himself. He was taking care of Dhritarashtra so nicely, even though Dhritarashtra and his sons, Kauravas, they tried all the way to kill Pandavas. But Yudhishthira never considered them as enemies. Is Ajata Shatru. Ajata Shatru means who has never considered anybody as enemies. I mean, others may envy him, but he never considered anybody as. This is again, as a practice devotee, we should keep this in mind. We should never envy anyone. We should never be jealous of others. We should not keep that the enmity to against anyone. So we should not keep anybody as our enemy. So that's what the quality of Yudhishthira Maharaj. So even though the Dhritarashtra was so bent upon to kill the Pandavas, but when they were all defeated, Yudhishthira took care of them so nicely. The Dhritarashtra and Gandhari. So every day he will go and pay obeisances to the Dhritarashtra uncle and make sure that all the facilities are provided so nicely to him. So here, how Yudhishthira had no one, because whole family was killed. They were talking about his family tradition will discontinue. So only hope was that Uttara's son, Abhimanyu's son, who is the womb of Uttara, the Parishit Maharaj, who was also attacked by Ashwatthama. So here in the translation is mentioned that he had uncommon opulences. Yudhishthira had all the opulences. That's the reason Arjuna is called Dhananjaya. Dhananjaya is because he has acquired wealth for his elder brother to perform Yajna. That's why he's called Dhananjaya. And even otherwise, so Yudhishthira had all the opulences. This is another quality. When we surrender to Krishna, when we serve Krishna, Krishna provides whatever required for that. Sometimes he'll give abundant. It's chappad paad ke dete hain in the Hindi say, if Lord want to give, he will give like that. And Lord want to take, he will take like that also. We should be equipoised. We should not be too happy when we get it. We should not be too disappointed when we lose it. Because Lord will try both. Sometimes he'll give opulences and try how this man is treating this. Is he getting proud and getting attached to that? Or he'll remove everything and see how this man is disturbed. Both way Krishna will try. So we should be very, very careful when Krishna tries this. So Yudhishthira had uncommon opulences. But the important point here is that how the brothers will cooperate each other. All 5 brothers, they had a full cooperation. Doesn't mean that they had no difference opinion. Especially Bhima had always had a difference opinion. He was not happy the way Yudhishthira performed this one, the game of dice. But Bhima never, raised voice or never did non-cooperation. That's important, because as a family, we should always be together, teams. That is the success of the family. In the family, anyone works against other, the whole family will collapse. That applies to any organization also. That cooperation is so important. That's why Prabhupada says that as a practice devotees, we should cooperate always. I may be differ in the opinion of others, but once a certain thing is decided, I should work for it, because interest of the family, interest of the organization, interest of society. I should not keep any of my ego there. I may not agree with the decisions. Majority decision will go, or the leader's decision will go. That's how we should work. Here, whatever Yudhishthira said, they all agreed. They all cooperated that. That's important. So in family also, as a practice devotees, grahasthas, it is always to cooperate each other. And always, if something is decided, and without any, kind of hesitation, everybody should work for it. The one goal. That's why in corporate world also, they say one objective, all should work together. That's a success. Otherwise, family will be destroyed. If husband one side, wife one side, children other side, that family cannot succeed. That's the point here we can learn from as a practicing devotees. This is the most important things we should, especially we are grahasthas, we should be very careful on this, because our ego will always come in place. His husband says something, why should he say like this? I will work against that. Or vice versa. That's also possible. So that's why very important point. And another point is that nor Yudhishthira, neither Arjuna Both were not happy with the war. Of course, Arjuna was not happy in the beginning itself. He refused to fight. But even after the Krishna's all the advice and giving Bhagavad Gita, Arjuna says, yes, Karishye Vachanatava. Hey Krishna, I will do whatever you say. I will obey your orders. Even though Krishna says, Arjuna, I given whatever the knowledge is now up to you. You can decide. You want to fight or not fight, or you want to, it's up to you. He has given full freedom. But Arjuna says, no, I will fight because that's what you want. But the result, Arjuna was not happy because he was a devotee. So many lakhs of, it said that 64 crores of people died in the Mahabharata war. More than Arjuna, Yudhishthira was not happy. Yudhishthira was totally disappointed, or is taking responsibility of so many people killing. So that's the time Krishna takes to Yudhishthira to Bhishma Dev, because he wanted to console Yudhishthira. And there Bhishma Dev says, no, it's not your fault. It is, first he says it's Kala, then he says it's a will of the Lord, because they're all adharmis. They had to be killed. So that's why Bhishma Dev convinces. That's a point to here say that. So it is a duty to fight Kshatriya. That's the point Srila Prabhupada says. It had to be done as a matter of duty. So again, as a practice devotees, we have a certain duties to perform. Certain times we may not be happy with the duty, but a duty is given by the authority. The duty is given by the seniors. We should accept it and do it. I should not unnecessarily grip and talk against that, because it's coming from the authority. And if the authority should be right authority, that's a different point. But the point here is that we should do our duty nicely. So that's the point he's mentioned here. And also, finally, Prabhupada says that although he had very little attraction for a material happiness, which was always illusionary temporary, Yudhishthira always detached. He had no attachment for the kingdom or opulences. That is a real fact. Again, as a practice devotees, I should not get attached to anything material, because material anyway will perish. Whatever material opulences or name, fame, glories, my body, beauty, everything will go. My bank balance, house, nothing will remain. Everything will go. Everything either will go during my lifetime itself possible, or at the time of leaving, I would leave everything. I cannot take anything. Many times it happened that during lifetime itself, Krishna will test. So I should be very, very careful not to get unnecessarily disturbed in both cases. So because material illusion is a temporary. So both happiness, sukha dukkha dha, agamapa, is Bhagavad Gita says. It's like a Sitoshna, how after every summer, winter will come, or after every winter, summer will come. So after every happiness, dukkha will come. And after dukkha, happiness will come. So it's a package. We should not get disturbed. So that's the point here mentioned here. Okay, we'll move on to the next sloka. Somebody reading?
Hare Krishna Prabhu, I have to read. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Text Srimad Bhagavatam 1.13.17. Evam griheshu shaktanam pramatanam tad ihaya atyakramad avistatah kalaha paramadushtaraha.
Very nice, Mataji. Thank you.
Thanks. Translation Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Insurmountable eternal time imperceptibly overcomes those who are too much attached to family affairs and are always engrossed in their thought. Purport: I am now happy I have everything in order. My bank balance is quite enough. I can now give my children enough estate. I am now successful. The poor beggar sannyasis depend on God, but they come to beg from me. Therefore, I am more than the supreme God. These are some of the thoughts which engross the insanely attached householder who is blind to the passing of eternal time. A duration of life is measured, and no one is able to enhance it even by a second against the scheduled time ordained by the Supreme Will. Such valuable time, especially for the human being, should be cautiously spent, because even a second passed away imperceptibly cannot be replaced. even in exchange of thousands of golden coins amassed by hard labor. Every second of human life is meant for making an ultimate solution to the problems of life. That is, repetition of birth and death and revolving in the cycle of 8 lakh 84 crores different species of life. The material body, which is subject to birth and death, diseases, and old age, is the cause of all sufferings of the living beings. Otherwise, the living being is eternal. He is never born, nor does he ever die. Foolish persons forget this problem. They do not know at all how to solve the problems of life, but become engrossed in temporary family affairs, not knowing that eternal time is passing away imperceptibly, and their measured duration of life is diminishing every second without any solution to the big problem, namely repetition of birth, death, disease, and old age. This is called illusion, but such illusion cannot work on one who is awake in the devotional service of the Lord. Yudhishthira Maharaja and his brothers, the Pandavas, were all engaged in the service of the Lord Sri Krishna, and they had very little attraction for the illusory happiness of this material world. As we have discussed previously, Maharaja Yudhishthira was fixed in the service of Lord Mukunda, the Lord who can award salvation, and therefore he had no attraction even for such comforts of life as are available in the kingdom of heaven, because even the happiness obtained on the planet Brahmaloka is also temporary and illusory. Because the living being is eternal, he can be happy only in the eternal abode of the kingdom of God. Paryayavama, from which no one returns to this region of repeated birth and death, disease and old age. Therefore, any comfort of life or any material happiness which does not warrant an eternal life is but illusion for the eternal living being. One who understands this factually is learned, and such a learned person can sacrifice any amount of material happiness to achieve the desired goal as Brahma Shukam or absolute happiness. Real transcendentalists are hungry for the happiness, and as a hungry man cannot be made happy by all comforts of life minus footstep. So the man hungry for eternal absolute happiness cannot be satisfied by any amount of material happiness. Therefore, the instruction described in this verse cannot be applied to Maharaja Yudhishthira or his brothers and mother. It was meant for persons like Dhritarashtra, for whom Yudhira came especially to impart lessons. So, here what they're telling is usually a man who is emotionally attached and completely has attachment to his family is always worried about their comforts and their prosperity and well-being. He keeps doing more and more, he tries to involve in material activity so that he does that, he'll earn more and more for his children, for their grandchildren, he'll make houses and he'll accumulate a lot of wealth. But that actually one who is actually advanced in Krishna consciousness knows that the main problems of this world are janma mrityu jara vyadi, that is birth, death, old age and diseases, and these are the main problems, and not that problem of wealth or problem of family members living and all those stuff. So one who has acknowledged and is advanced in Krishna consciousness or is in proper spiritual enlightenment, he'll realize that whatever happiness, material happiness we gain here is nothing, and we all will have to undergo some or the other difficulties, because this world is dukkalayam ashashvatam. This is the abode of unhappiness, and only place where we get even Brahma Loka or other lokas, as described in Bhagavad Gita, whoever prays to Shiva will go to Shiv Lok, Brahma Loka, ancestors Lok, and Guru's Lok. They are all impermanent. After our quota of merit is over, we have to again take birth in one of these 84 crore forms of life,
For life.
depending on whatever karma we have done. But one who reaches Krishna's abode, there is no return. That is an eternal abode, and there what happiness we get is always eternal. So, unlike Yudhishthira, Akunti, and Pandavas, who knew all these and they had already made Krishna as their friend, and they regarded him as a supreme personality. Dhritarashtra was attached to his family and son. Because of Dhritarashtra's attachment to his son only, he ignored all his mistakes, did not guide him when the time was right, and ultimately he himself saw that his whole family, all his children got killed in the Kurukshetra war. So this shows that for such a person, Vidura is guiding that attachment in the material world only leads to miseries and more miseries. And in order to overcome that attachment, we have to take shelter of the lotus feet of Supreme Personality of Godhead through the devotional service. That's what I understood, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Yeah, thank you. So it's another important point is that mentioned eternal time. Time is a factor. Again, for human or any living entity for that matter, after birth, the only time decides death. So it's B and D. We read ABCD, right? A, B, C, D. So A, B for birth, and leave the C, and the D is death. In between, what we'll do? B and C, we have to, B and D, we have to see only chanting. We have to see. What we have to see? We have to see the Lord. Not C for cat, see the Lord. And by chanting the holy name. Otherwise, that time will consume me. Time given, everybody given 24 the 24 hours. Nobody given extra, nobody given less. But how do I use that time? That's important for me. That's my prerogative. If I waste, even Prabhupada writes here, even if I waste 1 second, I cannot buy back the time with $1 million. Time is gone. When Yamaduta comes or Vishnuduta comes, if I ask, give me 1 minute more, no, that will not happen. So time is fixed. So it's up to me utilize the time. So now this time is precious for me. If I waste time, it's gone. I love to take birth again. Punarapi Jananam, Punarapi Maranam. Prabhupada writes in the first paragraph of the purport, I'm now happy. I have everything in order. My bank balance is quite enough. I can now give my children enough estate. Now I am successful. The poor beggar sannyasis depend on God, or they come to beg for me. This is the general mentality of the so-called materialistic people. We hear this. I mean, many times I also understand the devotees also do this. Bank balance, earning. I'm not saying don't do that, but it's our mentality. What do I do with that? Krishna has given, whatever the bank balance given, whatever Krishna has given, that's it. What do I do? How do I use it? That's important. Otherwise, the time will stash it. That will be more painful. That will be the more difficult time. I cannot create estate for my children unless they deserve it. So just by creating estate, creating bank balances, I'm not going to do any good for my children because we don't know, first of all, will they be able to enjoy that? Second, many times we have seen that children use that estate only against their parents, or they fight themselves for that property, they kill each other. There are many cases the parents have been killed for the property. So what is required is the education. What is required is the moral education, spiritual education. So normally said that if the the wealth is lost, nothing is lost. If the health is lost, something is lost. The character is lost, everything is lost. What we have to give our children is not the property, it's the property of Krishna, the Krishna consciousness. If you give that, even if you don't make any big property, it's fine. Krishna will take care. Plus, they will earn themselves because of their work. We don't have to. Of course, I'm not saying that don't do your do. But again, the point is that consciousness, that is the point. That should be very, very clear. We should all, as grihasthas, we should understand this. How much I should work and how should I utilize my wealth. Because otherwise will be atyahara, will be keep on accumulating. And end of the day, nothing will remain. There are people work 60 years, 65 years, 70 years, make big money, and end of the day, they die in ICU. losing everything. All the money is given to hospital. That's it. So what is the use of such life? They can't eat 2 times nicely, sleep nicely, behave well with the society, do something good to the society. Or society means I'm not just talking about human, every living entity. The best service we can do, paropakara we can do, is by giving Krishna consciousness. Spend sufficient time preaching, spend sufficient time to give something back to the society, because society has given us so much more than, because we have our debt towards our parents, we have debt towards the Devi Devatas, we have debt towards the society, we have debt towards our guru, we have debt towards Mother Earth, and so many other living entities. Because of them all, I'm here today. It's my responsibility to give back. Otherwise, I'll be failing my duty. I keep on accumulating, and if I don't do anything, I'll fail my duty. End of the day, I'll have to go back to the hell and suffer for it. That is the point Prabhupada brings. So the materialistic thinking that everything belongs to me, and the sannyasis, the devotees, are coming to beg for me. No. Actually, Prabhupada writes in, I think, Bhagavatam, later 3rd canto, whole property of Krishna belongs to Vaishnavas. Kshatriyas and Vaishyas are only caretaker. The property doesn't belong to Kshatriyas. Grihastha doesn't own the property. It is Brahmana, Vaishnava they own. What Grihastha does is just a caretaker. Like you keep money in your bank, the bank manager is a caretaker. When you go and ask, you are not begging from bank manager. Bank manager has to give. Similarly, when Vaishnava comes to your house, it is our duty to give, because it belongs to them. But at the same time, the mentality of Vaishnavas is not to accumulate anything. They will take and use it for Krishna's service that day. That's it. Whatever left, they distribute. They will not accumulate anything. They will not ask anything more. That is the mentality of sannyasis. In the olden days, sannyasis, they go to 3 houses, beg alms. Whatever get, that's it. They will eat. If that they get, they will fast. That's the mentality of a Vaishnavas. So this is the mood in which society should do. Grahastha should serve Vaishnavas, and Vaishnavas should not accumulate. This is the reciprocation. That's the ideal society. That's why Prabhupada says that otherwise the society is fit. The human life is not meant for sense gratification. Human life is meant for self-realization. Atma avalokana, a self-realization should do it. What is self-realization? Who I am, what is my duty, where I come, where I'm going. That is the realization as human life. And this duration is so less. I don't know, very next second, I may not be here. So I should utilize this time as best as possible today, now, not to wait for even sometime we ask devotees, please chant. No time, Prabhu, I have no time. Please come for Bhagavatam, no time. But do we have time for so many other things? Yes, we have. But I'm not saying only for this, any spiritual activity for that matter. So that's why human life, that's why the Purandara Das says, Ninyako Ranga Ninna Hangyako Ninna Namada Bala Ondidare Saku. ನರ ಜನ್ಮ ಬಂದಾಗ ನಾಲಿಗೆ ಇರುವಾಗ ಕೃಷ್ಣ ಎನ್ನಬಾರದೆ ಕೃಷ್ಣ ಎಂದರೆ ಕಷ್ಟೋ ಪರಿಹಾರ. So God has given this human body. God has given the tongue. Please chant Krishna's name. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Yeah, all your difficulties taken care. Krishna gives a guarantee in Bhagavad Gita. Sarva dharma parityajya mameka sharanam aham ta sarva papebhyo mokshaya masusha. Don't worry about any problems. I will take care, but surrender to me. That is the quality Vaishnava should go. Otherwise, the 84 lakhs of species will have to repeated birth, repeated death, disease, old age. That's a real problem. Many times we think that finance problem, society problem, environment problems, traffic problem, pollution problem, these are not problem. This problem may be now. When I lose this body, what is this? Nothing is available. My real problem is repeated birth, janma, mittu, jara, vyadi. That is a real problem. Adhyatmika, adibhautika, adidevika. These are the real problem. I should try to solve that problem. That is the real success of human life. Otherwise, I'll have to again go back to one more womb of mother. That can be done only with the Mukunda. Krishna, Mukunda means one gives liberation. If you are all looking for liberation, mukti, or go back home, back to Godhead, worship Krishna. And even heaven is like a five-star hotel. Till you have punya, you can enjoy heaven. After that, you would come back. They will throw you out. That too is said that they will hold in the leg and throw, it seems. That's how as soon as the punya is finished, we are out. So even for Brahmaloka, it's not permanent. Brahma also has got death. Maybe its duration is longer. Brahma has got a 311 trillion 40 billion years of material, but he also has to die. So that's why Prabhupada is saying our only job is to go back home, back to Godhead. Otherwise, Prabhupada gives example, hungry man cannot be made happy by the comfort of life minus food stuff. So if somebody is very hungry, you give him mobile, give him gold, give him so many other gadgets, no food. He cannot be happy. Similarly, this Atma cannot be happy with anything material other than spiritual connection with the Supreme Lord. Supreme connection with the Supreme Lord, bhakti is the only can give happiness, nothing else. So that's why all of us should try to aspire, increase our bhakti as much as possible, so that, and it should be very fast because it's urgent. The corporate world, they talk about a 4 quadrant, right? Urgent, important, urgent, not important, but then another 2 quadrants, important but not urgent. But this is urgent and important. Urgent because I have less time. Important because that's the only choice. That's only no other choice. So this is the most important thing as a human being do. And Prabhupada says this is not meant for Yudhishthira. It is for person like Dhritarashtra who are Griha Medi, who are completely engrossed in the material life. So we should not become Griha Medi or like Grihastha. We should be, like a Dhritarashtra, we should be Grihastha. Our house should be Grihastha Ashrama. Ashrama means give ashraya to others, not just self-centered. It should be open to all. Public should come to your house. It should be like a temple. That is the mood in which our house should be taken. With this, I'll stop here. Vishnu Chakravarti Thakur writes here, this was criticism of people whether that other than Yudhishthira and his family present at that time. It has already been said. So, yeah, this is not criticizing Yudhishthira Maharaj. It is meant for people like me who are more into material engrossment. Thank you. Hare Krishna. I'll stop here. Devotees can share your comments, please.
Prabhu,
Yep, Prabhuji.
in 0.16 sloka, Arjuna was asked by Lord Krishna to kill all the bad people, though they are his relatives. And again, you told Vidura was taking care of the enemies also. Which one to take, Prabhu? Suppose in our family, some son or any father is a atheist, non-devotee, we cannot disown.
Yeah.
Like that, what to do?
Correct. So Arjuna had a clear instruction from Krishna, right? Kill.
Okay.
So we have to follow dharma as per Shastra.
Okay.
I cannot take my own decisions. That is
Okay.
the difference. So I should follow Varnashrama Dharma. What is duty of mine? Because in this today's time, I don't have a right to kill anyone. I have no right to do anything. My only right is to serve Krishna and devotees. In the process, I may get enemies, I may get hated by others, but we should still tolerate. Trinadapi sunichena, tarorapi sahishtuna, amanena, manadena, kirtaniya sadahari. Without expecting any respect, giving respect to everybody, being tolerant and humble, just chant the holy name. That's
okay. Thank
you. Yeah, Hare Krishna. Maybe we'll start from other side. Varsha Mataji, you want to start?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, thank you for the class. So today's takeaway is like should not consider anyone as enemy, like how Yudhishthira took care of Dhritarashtra and all, and cooperation among everyone is important. Like how there was difference of opinion among Pandavas, but even then they took care of each other, and should not attach to any material things. And what else? Probably between birth and death, we just have time. I mean, time is the only thing, and we should utilize it in chanting. That is what is the best practice. And should find a way to give back to the society. And if I assume that I own something and I am giving it to the Vaishnavas, it is not right thing. It is all belongings to them only. And bhakti is the only way that can give happiness. So I should work towards improving my bhakti. That's what I understood, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji. Uma Shankar Prabhu, anything?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Prabhuji?
So Krishna conscious, it is the urgent and important need of the hour, Prabhuji. That is the takeaway point for today, Prabhuji. And the time is most important. We should not waste not even a single second of the our life, so that we should not waste mundane activities. We should not get engaged and also speak unnecessary things, except for the glorification of the Lord and Krishna conscious. Hare Krishna.
Thank you. Shruti Mataji. Sridevi Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Yeah.
Yudhishthira Maharaj, he has very uncommon opulences to rule the kingdom. All the other brothers are also very cooperative in the administration part. So that's what we should learn is we should be like Pandavas, very cooperative in the family. And both of them, Arjuna and Yudhishthira, they are very unhappy for the war. But they obeyed the Lord Krishna's instructions and they just simply followed. That's what we should learn, how we should obey. Even though we don't like to do some things, we should obey elders or gurus. Then regarding the second sloka, time is very limited. Our time, the duration of our life is very short. So this material body is full of, is engrossed with birth, death, old age, disease and old age. So we'll be dwelling in this only. So in order to, overcome this, we should be always, always be in Krishna's service, and we should be always in the service of the Lord, so that we can go back to Godhead and we'll overcome this. If we go to Krishna Loka, we'll be permanently happy without this material life. Human life is meant for self-realization. How we are connected with the Lord, what we have to do, like how we have to serve the Lord and all. Actually, we have come from here for our self-enjoyment and all. So, in order to, because we are selfish, we wanted to enjoy life on our own without Lord, we have come to this material life. So, this material life is full of birth, death, old age and disease, and very unhappiness only. So if we want permanent happiness, we should go back to Lord, do Lord's service and go back to Godhead. As human life is meant for self-realization and not sense gratification. Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Thank you, Mataji. Lakshmi Mataji, anything?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Yeah.
So, interest of the society comes first, and one should be cooperative always and work for the interest of the society. Here, the interest of the society is nothing but Krishna consciousness, and then enmity should not be there also, and duty is very important. Duty should be performed always perfectly, Prabhuji, and then we should utilize time in Krishna consciousness between birth and death. We should see the Lord by only way, the chanting method, pure chanting, and then life is for self-realization, and then soul's happiness is only bhakti, is in bhakti, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Mariappan Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Krishna Prabhu.
Almost all points are covered by our devotees, and I think nothing is left for me, Prabhuji. Simply not to repeat.
Good.
And the topmost this thing I feel is I must take all precaution measures to put full stop for my birth and death. by sincere devotional services and sincere chanting is my top priority. And I must always keep in mind that time is a very crucial factor, and I must bear this in mind and my consciousness and utilize appropriately in delivering my physical responsibility, not to compromise with my spiritual responsibilities. That much I understood.
Thank you,
Hare
Prabhuji.
Krishna.
Thank you. Archana Mataji, want to say anything? Asha Mataji.
I cannot be happy with anything, but bhakti is the only way that can give happiness. And my top priority is to try to go back home, back to God. That's my take.
Arush Prabhu is there.
He has left Prabhuji today.
Okay. No problem. Okay. Anyway, Murali Prabhu, anything else you have?
Yes, Prabhu. That question I asked, no, Prabhu. First, God will guide us, I think, Prabhu.
Yeah.
Yes, Prabhu. What to do? Take decision.
Purvakam dadami buddhiyogam, he
Yes.
says. He says,
Yes.
I'll give the intelligence.
Yes, Prabhu.
Show me the love. That's what he says.
Okay.
He'll give the
Okay,
right
Prabhu.
intelligence right time.
Hare Krishna. Thank you.
Hare Krishna. So we'll end here. Vancha kalpatarubhyasya kripa sindhu bevacha patitana pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namanam ananta koti vaishnav vrinda ki jai grantara Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai Srila Prabhupada ki jai Samaveta Bhakta Vrinda ki jai. Hare Krishna. See you tomorrow. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Pranams.
Hare Krishna.